The British Tornado Squadron has completed its final mission of the Canadian War Games. All that remains is for them to convince their opponents that the kills they are claiming are valid. This is mostly done by viewing the RAF videos from each fighter. The footage is usually subject to restrictions to preserve weapons system secrets.
Went head-to-head with the F-18s, had a bit of a battle of we spiked them, they spiked us, they notched, we notched, it was all a bit...
Today's mission leaders have the evidence they need to confirm a rare machine gun kill on a German F-4 Phantom fighter from the von Richthofen Squadron.
Target under the lock circle. We've already taken a sidewinder shot on him, and we're now going to try and close for guns. Okay, we're now rolling in. You'll see the bottom right-hand corner. A circle will go past. It's going down there now. That's him, and here he comes into the screen. We're radar locked, gun sights on him. We're following him, and you'll see he puts out flares in a second. There we go, flares. He's feeling defensive. Just in here, he'll put flares out again. But we're actually closing for guns on him now. He rolls off. He's trying to do a guns jink to get out, but not a problem. We've got him banged to rights at the moment. He can't get away. He's trying to go. He goes off the bottom. We go up to get some nose-tail separation, and he'll come back in again as we go into a hard right turn. You can see him there. His burners are in, and then he rolls off, and he's feeling very, very defensive, and he's now wing-waggling right, left, to tell us that he's had enough, so we actually terminate the fight at that point. As we come past him, we do an aileron roll to show him that we've killed him and terminate the engagement and then flow on to the next strike package. Very happy.
Right, initial plan then, obviously, we've got the 4 in the middle, 2 down to the south, 2 up to the north. It's north-south arms flowing on time with guys above them.
As the lead pilot reviews the mission, it becomes clear that the squadron's successes today far outweigh even their most optimistic hopes.
Presentation.
No, we were untargeted and we were right down at the 5,000 feet, but the initial plummet earthwards seemed to do the trick. But of course, we were probably no escape, I think, by the time they got us.
7.
They probably shoot us before we get to the merge, but we shoot one of those.
Find that out there. Down the bottom arm then, 5 and 6.
Yeah, pushing as planned. 28 miles. Unthreatened.
We approached the last mission with very much a desire to get somebody through at almost any cost. So the tactic was not so much suicidal, but bold, shall we say, and it was designed to confuse the enemy so much, even at the expense of our own situational awareness, such that one guy would get through, and in fact that's exactly what happened. We managed to get one aircraft through unseen.
Go low and sidestep the sweep and go for the mud package, which we can see heading east towards its marshalling area.
The crew who got through were the squadron wing commander Martin Routledge and his pilot, Flight Lieutenant Ian Lang.
So we did well to get a guy through, and of course once he had got through he then did a lot of damage and he was extremely effective in getting most of the F-16s to get rid of their bombs. So that was a very good success for us in that it denied them a mission effectiveness, but a great cost to us as well in terms of aircraft lost.
And then we come back when we see them hauling off. We're untargeted, and then we arc around and get into the marshalling area.
Yeah, today's mission was real good. The boss and I were lucky in that we were down on one of the flanks of the formation, so you're less likely to take the brunt of the sweeping fighters coming through.
We're untargeted apart from the SAM-8. That's right, SAM-8's gone, we can come back right. OK, let's just extend us a tad.
And then we arced back round and came back round through the eastern side of the box, and we shot down a lot of F-16s which were marshalling at that point, all completely unobserved. So we got about 8 kills that time.
Amongst the packages on far right. We're talking target-rich environment. OK. Excellent there then.
We were totally outnumbered, totally outshot, bigger missile, better aircraft, radars, the whole thing, and we still got someone through untargeted, and he did do a lot of damage, and they ended up effectively with a mission fail. They wanted 80% bombs on target, but because the 8 F-16s in that southeast corner that were engaged by Langers and the boss, they all simulated jettisoning ordnance. And that meant that it took them down to about 61% real bombs on target. So we totally ruined their mission effectiveness, which is not bad going, really, against those sort of numbers.
We have to outthink them. It's very tricky to do. It means your mind's working hard the whole time. If you can get past those guys and get into the strikers and show them that the F-3 can shoot down F-16s and bombed up F-18s, even in combat, that's very satisfying. You kind of feel that you're showing that your aircraft is capable. A lot of people think it isn't. It's not as good as some, and we could do with a better missile and a more agile aeroplane, but it's still got its potency, and I think some of the guys, the F-16 guys, make their eyes water today.
It can be just a job, but on a mission like today's, then it becomes more than that. It really does become extremely enjoyable. At times, flying fighters can be complete drudgery, but you live for sorties like this when it is so exciting you just don't know what to shoot next, and that's what makes it worthwhile.
Back home, with the squadron once again defending the realm, the pilots and navigators of 29 Squadron are reunited with the wives and girlfriends they haven't seen for almost a month. But even here, flying and the Royal Air Force still tops the agenda.
I think that they're a breed unto themselves. It gets a bit much after a while. I mean, they tend to, reasonably, I think when the girls are around, I think they try and calm it down a little bit. But it's something I think they have to get out of their system, like on a Friday night when they go to the bar. I wouldn't dream of walking in early because I feel that they've got to get it out of their system and settle down. And then if the girls come, like on a Friday afternoon for happy hour, they can talk generally amongst themselves on various topics. But I think they need to get the flying out of the way first.
The major thing that they've got in common is their work and is their flying. So there's got to be that type of person, as you know. They are definitely going to be stereotypes, and they all like to conform, you know. They all thrive on their banter and everything else, and because we live and socialise within the same environment, there definitely is stereotypes, definitely.
Well, I think wives know more about flying than we do because, unfortunately, we're the most boring people in the world. If we get 3 or 4 of us together at a party, we're always standing in one corner discussing flying all the time. And, it's very difficult to switch on and talk about football or something. It's a paid hobby, I think, the Air Force, in a way.
My life doesn't change whether Ted's here or not. He comes and goes. I have to have my set routine that fits in with me at work and the children, and he comes and goes. He's the variant. It's almost like being a one-parent family for a good 6 months of the year.
Aircrew in general are meant to be hard drinkers. The wife can stay at home and look after the screaming brats. It's a very old-fashioned ideal. They still think they're fighting a war, World War II or something, or World War I even maybe, but definitely. They still think they're those guys. In World War II, I could see that people would have to have a drink and unwind after a sortie. They might not go out again, might be their last one. With these guys, it's not really the same, but they still like that excuse to go to the bar, to act recklessly, to burn pianos, which I think is a bit juvenile.
The only stereotype would really be, someone who doesn't really want to grow up, just imagine. As they say, when I grow up I want to be a fighter pilot, and the reply often is, well, you can't do both.
Every time I've been SDA,
you worry. I think the worst feeling I felt was a few months ago. We had a tornado go down here, and you hear it on the radio, and my heart stopped. It was dreadful, because you knew you'd know at least one person in the tornado, and if you hear it in the press, they don't tell you the squadron, they don't tell you where it's come from or anything like that, which is really important to you. So there's a massive amount of time when you just don't know who it is. And that is a horrible feeling. But you don't think about it every day. I mean, you can't do.
I've lost several friends over the years, probably a dozen or more. It's there, but it's like being a racing driver or what have you. Everybody on the track is a professional, and that greatly reduces the risk. It's not as though anybody can get into the airplane and fly it, because you can't. You've been through extensive training. So, yeah, occasionally when there's an accident, especially if it's somebody you know, it does bring home the lessons, and everybody does sort of revisit their consciences, if you like, or their souls. But Ultimately, you can't afford to think about the risks and fly the aircraft. Every fighter pilot is of the opinion that it won't happen to them, and that is the only opinion to have. If you felt that there was a chance of it happening to you, you couldn't get into the airplane.
My philosophy has always been that if you get into flying to a hillside, you aren't going to get run over by a bus or die of cancer. You know, you've got to have a certain fatalistic attitude. It's going to happen someday. Nobody deliberately tries and kills themselves, so therefore it's if it does happen, it'll be an accident, and it could happen to you driving your car to work in the morning. It's a relatively safe job. We don't have a lot of accidents these days, which is because of the fact that we have a good flight safety system, and we do try to ensure that if there's a learning point out of an accident that has happened, then people get to hear about it and realise what's going on.
The risk factor involved is something that they can't really think about, and I think as wives you can't think about it on a day-to-day basis. It's something you know at the back of your mind is always there, but if you thought about it constantly, you just wouldn't survive and get on with life.
I've had moments of concern in aeroplanes, but I've never felt scared by it, and I've never felt that it wasn't under control of one form or another. Sometimes I could have wished it was under more control, but once again, you tend to talk about those things in the bar afterwards, rather than shout about it at the time.
I think the best bit about it is being on a nice day, turning upside down, sticking your tongue out at the world, you know, from a height and looking at it below you. Days when you can see from one side of England to the other. People don't do this job for any other real reason.
It has to be really in the blood. You can't say that it's like most careers. It isn't. If you're not absolutely dead set on becoming one, you'll never pass. You'll never achieve it. So I guess it's just a strata of society that just want to be fighter pilots.
Next week, Saturday Stack joins Alan Wicker on his Round the World Ultimate Package.